Okay, let's go. I figured out why I'm always late. So I was in the kitchen getting a drink, and the clock said 7:56 on the stove, and I come in here, and the laptop says 8:02. We gotta fix the clock on the stove, babe. I literally pour my water, says 7:56. I'm like, good, I'll be fine. Walk in here, 8:02. It's not okay. It's just not okay. How's everybody doing this morning? Hey, Patel, how we doing, buddy? Thank you, brother, again for last night. Bex, yeah, this is an early. Yeah, I figured, we get the early crowd, and then whoever needs to sleep in on a Sunday after last night, we'll get to them at noon as well, right, Bex? Bucks go drinking coffee and a sausage biscuit. Oh, that sounds pretty good. How do you drink a sausage biscuit? You'd be surprised what people will put in a blender when they can't eat solid food, right? Oh, yeah, she's awake. I always have some interesting excuses. It's the truth, though. It's the truth. You know, when you're is what's the word I would what absent minded. Yeah, yeah. There's too much in the brain at all times. Oh, it's 6 a.m. Where's Kyle? Yeah, Kyle might be laying down for bed right now. I'm not sure how late he went to bed. We'll see. But you're never going to see him before noon. Rarely. Maybe one time out of 2 weeks. And then we don't even like it when he wakes up early. Because if he wakes up at 9 o'clock and we hear him moving around, then that means we know he's going to be exhausted at some point in the afternoon and have to take a nap. So, that's just his circadian rhythm. He stays up late doing whatever. Sometimes he's working, sometimes, he's got a social circle on some websites, and he's not a gamer. I know that, but sometimes he'll be up dancing for 2 or 3 hours. He's like his father. I used to stay up till 2, 3 in the morning. When I was his age, I could get 2 hours of sleep. That's the only difference, is he needs to get his rest, whereas I did not. So let's see. Beck says, let's look at a couple upsides from last night. Tarasov looked good, and given the situation we are in with player availability, we didn't look too bad against the angry Oilers team. Yeah, I mean, the first period was bad, right? I mean, we looked awful. We looked very discombobulated and disorganized on defense. But I guess from what we heard, Ekblad was like a game time scratch. So I still don't understand why Maurice went with Balinskis and Forsling instead of putting Jones with Forsling, which is what worked last year. I don't understand. Yeah, Bex, exactly. I mean, and that first goal, I couldn't believe it. Like, you see Forsling go with his man into the corner, and then there's the guy alone in front, and you see Forsling come back into the picture to try to cover him at the last second. And you're like, well, where the hell is Balinskis if Forsling went into the corner? So I don't know. I'd have to look at the play. I'd have to look at it to see if for sure that was Balinskis' man. They only showed a quick replay. I always say I wish that the NHL had what the NFL has, because the NFL has this thing called All 22, where you get the coaches' film from up above and you can watch plays develop. And, sometimes it's not always the quarterback's fault or the receiver's fault or whatever. I wish the NHL would do something like that, but it would make too much sense. So, how do I feel about the Eastern Conference so far? Well, let's look at the standings. I mean, it's just, so you got the Wings at 27, the Lightning at 26, the Senators at 26, the Bruins at 26, Canadians at 25, Panthers at 23. So we are now 3 points out of a spot No. The Flyers, Canadians at 25. 25 is so we're still only 2 points out of a spot. The issue I have, honestly, individually with the Panthers is that one overtime loss, that 11-9-1. We've lost multiple points in games that we should have been able to get to overtime. So that's frustrating. In terms of the conference, to be honest with you, I said this yesterday, and I don't, just because we lost last night, I haven't changed my mind. If we get healthy, if we have Barkov, Reinhart, I'm going to say Rodriguez instead of Verhaeghe. If we have Barkov, Reinhart, Rodriguez, Bennett, Tkachuk, Samoskevich, Lundell, Luostarinen, and Marchand as our top 9 in the playoffs, and the defense remains healthy, I still feel confident like we can win the conference again. The Hurricanes, they're always good, right? But wait to the playoffs for them. And none of the other teams, the Lightning could give us a problem. But healthy with Barkov, I still feel like we should be the favorites in the conference. Buck says, I guess the Oilers know the playbook, how to beat the Panthers. Why change the playbook? Well, and true, but without Barkov, you know what I mean? Lundell played really, really well last night. Really well. Like I said, it's early. I'm not unhappy with the 4-3 score, considering the injuries and everything. But Maurice I'm going to go bald if Maurice continues to pull this crap where, I'm willing to compromise, and I understand the empty net sometimes pays dividends and all of that. But we didn't have possession. McDavid's on the ice. We didn't have clean possession, and he took the goalie out. And I just don't know what he's thinking. Like he's rushing it to get the goalie off so early this year. And most times the puck's in the back of our net before there's even less than 3 minutes left. Ekblad, I think, Bex, I think they said he's just sick. Like he's had a cold or whatever it is. Hopefully, maybe a picnic accident. Jeez. Patel says there are times I think the Panthers feel bored and other times making mistakes like the 2015 Panthers team, like a bad team would. Oh, God, that team. Oh, my God. Yeah. I don't want to, on one hand, I hate using the injuries as the excuses, but then when you list out the guys that are not on the ice, the fourth line was adequate last night. Cunnin was good. Gregor has been playing pretty well, active. Greer, honestly, has been good. I know he's been moved up. So, but there's just so much that the fact that we're 2 points out of a spot without Barkov, Tkachuk, basically without Verhaeghe, right? At this point, Verhaeghe's hurting us. I wish Maurice would sit him for a game. And when Luostarinen comes back, I'd love to see Paul sit Verhaeghe for a game and put Devine in that spot. Just to give Verhaeghe, just not even as a punishment, just as a, bro, you've played a lot of hockey, you deserve a night off. Just any other reason to just get him off the ice and give him a kind of a reset, because this is just getting worse. Patel said, an Ekblad should never miss a game if he's married to a doctor. Unless Maurice just wanted to give him a day off, they should have rules like no play, no pay, unless she's really hurt. You don't want that load management. Yeah, I don't think that was, they said he was a game time scratch. So, if he has a fever, if he wasn't feeling well in the morning and he has a fever, that's going to get worse in the afternoon. And I just wonder if Bob's not feeling well. So who do I think is the best right now, Bucks go? Right now, I think the Canes are the best team in the conference. I don't, The Bruins, I don't trust. The Senators with Kachuk could be a problem. The Lightning could obviously win the division. It's starting to look like they might just win the division. But in terms of if we don't have Barkov, if the Panthers don't have Barkov, I think you probably will see a Lightning Hurricanes Eastern Conference final. And that's just going to be up to the goaltending. I would be surprised if anybody comes out of the Metro other than Carolina right now. Yeah, well, Daily Faceoff said upper body, but maybe he's got a head cold and they're calling it upper body. I don't know. Hopefully it's not. My first thought was maybe he had a migraine and he's got the concussion history. Yeah, Bex. Yeah, Swiggy's not even taking shots anymore. I know. Patel says, if you have a fever, take some Tylenol. You'll manage like we all will. I know. I don't know. I'm making it up at this point as we go. We'll have to see. Hopefully, I mean, apparently he was, like I said, a game time scratch. We haven't heard that in a long time around here, unless he pulled something, taking a warm-up shot or something like that. The defense was discombobulated to start the game, no doubt. You know, it's different when you have Kulikov because he's such a veteran guy. If something like that happens last minute, you just put Kulikov in that guy's spot. So without Cooley in there, you know, Balinskis did play a good overall game. He was very active. Patel says the loss is still Ekblad's fault. maybe. It just made the list last night comical, right? When Greer was off the ice because of his misconduct, it was Barkov, Kachuk, Kulikov, Luosterainen, Nosek, Gadjevich, Greer, Schwint, and I still think I'm missing somebody. I still think I'm missing somebody. Buck says the same Oilers team for their cup runs. Yeah, it's pretty much the same team. Tell says, do I think Tarasov should play a little bit more and give Bob a break? So I was hoping at the beginning of the season, I wanted like a 48-34 split. I know Bobrovsky is the kind of goalie that they like to play more, and he likes to play more, but that's 2 out of the last 3 games where he's been bad, really off. So, yeah, I'd have no problem. In fact, let's look at our games coming up. I'm going to assume, now I had been assuming that Tarasov was going to get it against the Preds anyway. So what was yesterday? Yesterday was Saturday. So I'm looking to see when the back-to-back is. So we have a back-to-back on the 6th and 7th. You know they're going to play Bob against the Jackets because that's his former team. So Tarasov will play on the 7th. So if you play Tarasov against the Preds and then let Bob go out there against the Flyers, maybe play Tarasov against the Flames. If he plays well against the Preds, put him out there against the Flames so Bob is fresh for the game against the Leafs, and then put Tarasov out there again against the Preds. So, yeah, 3 of the next 5, maybe that's a good idea to give Bobrovsky just a little bit of rest, and then obviously the back-to-back, we'd be splitting that again too. And in fact, we have 2 back-to-backs back-to-back. We have the 6th and the 7th, and then we have the 10th and the 11th. And the game on the 11th is the Avalanche. So I don't think you're going to put Tarasov out there then. So you're going to want to put him out there. You're going to want to put Tarasov in against the Mammoth. And I think we have a couple more back-to-backs. Yeah, in December, we have the 19th and the 20th, and the 29th and the 30th. So Tarasov is going to get his games in for sure here in December. Yeah, we've been playing Bob a lot. Yeah, no, I don't. Is Tarasov also? You might be right. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Patel. Usually they usually play Bobrovsky against the Jackets but you're right. Tarasov, that's going to be interesting. Good catch. So yeah, that could change how they play. Tampa backup goaltenders platoon. How is Jonas Johansson doing? We always make fun of him because he's not been great, but this year he's not been great. 3.22 and an 8.93. Holy moly. His game logs so far this year, he didn't start off so bad. He basically allows 3 goals every game. 3-3-3, 2-1, 5-3. Yeah. I mean, if your backup goalie is allowing 3 goals a game, you should be winning some games. You know, he's your backup for a reason. What's his? But he's won 4 games. So he has started, let's see, yeah, he's won 4 games. He lost the game that he allowed 3, and he lost the game where he allowed 5. So Tarasov, I don't even think has played that many games right now. Yeah, Tarasov has. He's started 5 games, but he's 1-3. But his numbers, I mean, that just goes to show you. So Tarasov is 1-3-1, but he's got a 2-3-4 and a 9-10. He's 1-3-1, and he's got a 2-3-4 and a 9-10. And Johansson is 4-2, and he's got a 3.22 and an 8.93. Oh, it's a long, weird year. Yeah, Bob had to make up for a shutout the other night. Boy, Bubba's numbers can't be fantastic now. He was already below 900. Where's Bubba? Bubba. Oh. So Bubba is now at 280 and at 887. Now the 280 we could probably live with around here. His career is only 258. He's not Marty Brodeur, but he's just an excellent playoff goalie. So yeah, the 280 is not quite going to cut it. The last 2 years we won the cup 237, 244. Now, of course, with all the guys out, especially with Barkov being out, you know, it's going to have an effect. But last night, he just wasn't ready to play last night. Let me look at. So he played, he's played some games here. The 15th, the 17th, the 20th, and then the 22nd. What's interesting is that if you wanted to play him twice and then give him a night off, the night off would have been the shutout against the Devils. So maybe 3 games and 1 off at least. Because had he played 4 games, or did Tarasov play a game in there between the 10th and the 15th? He must have. Last night was the 4th game in a row. That, I think, is what we definitely want to avoid with Bobrovsky. There's no reason to play him 4 games in a row. Tarasov had not played since November 13th. And that was a win where he allowed 3 goals on 40 shots. That's too long. He should not be sitting that long. He hasn't played since the 13th. like I've been saying, Maurice has been making some decisions this year. I feel like he's just not pressing the right buttons, you know? Yeah, Tarasov is legit. He's played really well, for sure. Who's better this year, Vasi or let me see. Vasilevsky, much better. Vasilevsky is 252 and a 909. Yeah. He started off not all that great. He started off not great, allowing 4 goals, 5 goals, 3 goals. But since then, he's only allowed more than 3 once, which was the 5 goals to the Rangers and 13 shots. But since then, he's allowed 1, 1, and 1. Vasilevsky is definitely showing that he still has his ability. His save percentage is the last 3 games, 957, 969, 960. So, and that was when they were in overtime too. Beck says, my hopes are to keep the pace going, to be in the running still, and we get players back as the year goes on, we get better. I mean, yeah, if we're still within 2 points of a playoff spot, obviously we're okay. But the problem is the number of teams that we're chasing. So where are we? I mean, because we're chasing the Canadiens, the Bruins, the Senators, the Lightning, and the Wings. That's 5 in the division. And in terms of the wild card, we're at 23 points. So the Capitals, the Jackets, the Penguins, the Flyers, the Canadiens, and the Bruins are the teams we're chasing for wild card spots. So we're 2 points out, but there's 7 teams ahead of us. We can only putz around for so long. Now the Lightning look like they've righted the ship. I suspect with the way the Leafs are playing and the way the Panthers are playing, I think Tampa's going to win the division, which is going to make it important for us to get that 3rd spot. And I still think we can. I don't know if the Wings and Senators and Bruins are going to continue to play at the pace they have. But what we don't want to do is end up with a Lightning Panthers first round, in my opinion, because the Lightning look a little bit rested and ready to go now. They look a little bit better. Hey, Derek, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, Buck says, I don't want no more Battle of Florida. No. Well, who knows, man? It's just such a crazy year with the number of guys that have been hurt. Yeah, Tarasov is scheduled to start a Monday night's game. Yeah. Yeah, hopefully he gets more than just that. Like we said, we got Monday against the Preds, and then Wednesday against the Flyers. Put Bob out there against the Flyers, and to put Tarasov out there against the Flames. That to me, and that's that's Black Friday. Yeah. So that would give Bobrovsky, if he plays against the Flyers on Wednesday, and you play Tarasov against the Flames, that would give Bob almost a week off before we got to play the Leafs. I like that idea. But Maurice has just been making so many weird decisions that normally we have a pretty good vibe. I have a pretty good gauge on what I think Maurice is going to do. But he's just not been pressing the same buttons. The empty net thing is new. We always empty the net, but this thing now where it's like he's overthinking it. He's thinking, we don't have our guys, so we got to empty the net earlier. And I mean, I get it. We did look good in the power play, but we all year, every game for the most part, we have nowhere near been ourselves in terms of hogging the puck and keeping possession of the puck. Teams have kind of sorted out that if they play our style against us, we can still win some games. But without Barkov and without Tkachuk, it's a massive hole. And so we're not holding on to the puck nearly as long in stretches of time, although last night was still pretty good. And so he's doing that. And then some of the lineup decisions he's made. Now, he did finally get it right with Rodriguez. So that's worked out. I think if it was anybody other than Carter Verhaeghe would have sat down by now. And maybe he'll finally get a game off. Because now his lack of last night was the worst game I've seen him play. Now, he's not hurting us defensively. He's not out of position, and he's still skating and he's still working. But you can see that his confidence is just absolutely in the toilet. And every time he gets the puck, he doesn't know what to do with it. Where before, Verhaeghe was an assassin. If he got the puck anywhere near the circles, he was just going to slide over and pick his spot, and boom, the puck was in the back of the net. And now it's just, there's not even a ghost of Verhaeghe. Like a ghost of a guy would look something like the guy. This guy doesn't even look like the ghost of Carter Verhaeghe. I'm telling you, he needs a night off, maybe even 2 nights off. When Luostarinen comes back, you go Lundell, Luostarinen, Marchand, Rodriguez with Reinhart, Samoskevich, and then go Bennett with Greer and Devine. Give Devine a shot on that third line, just because he's at least playing good hockey on both ends of the ring. Something, just give Verhaeghe a night off, please. Buck Skull, I think talk to text got you there, Buck Skull. I'm not sure what you said. I'm pretty sure talk to text got you. Oh yeah, you think the still favorites? Who's still favorites according to Vegas? Well, over in the West, that's a whole nother story with the West. That's Colorado's conference. Even though the Stars got 30 points too now, the Avalanche have won 8 straight. They're 15-1-5. Like they might break the Bruins record from the other year. They're on 120. They're like 140 point pace. Like they might beat the Bruins record from the other year. I mean, they're just insane right now. Well, they've got a positive goal differential of 37, 21 games into the season. I don't know what is going to stop the Avalanche. Certainly in the West. The Stars, you can't count on them. The Wild, the Mammoth, the Jets, who? What? The Ducks are in first. I know people think the Knights maybe, but Colorado right now is just a step above everybody. But it's regular season. And, we've seen how many teams now in a row get that President's Trophy and look unbeatable and then get to the playoffs and not so much. The numbers in the West, so you got 25 points. 25 points is the wild card. You got the Mammoth, they're still in, and then the Kings are the other wild card, and the Oilers are a point back. Sharks lost again, so their time in the top 3 might be done. And then there's the Flames have actually won a couple of games in a row. Hopefully they don't get good right when we're getting ready to play them. Oh, the Panthers are still the Cup favorites? Beck says, yeah, the Avs are insane this year. And hold on a second. Let's look at this here for a sec. Gee, well, yeah, they shut out the Preds. I mean, the goaltending is so, yeah. Wedgwood has got a 223 and a 913. Blackwood has got a 247 and a 911. So the Avs have two good woods. And you know what they say, if you've got two good woods, you're going to win a lot of games. Even the one kid that came in and must have been, I guess one of them got hurt. This kid, Trent Miner, played in, and he's got a 212 and a 909. So the Avs have just been crazy in terms of their goaltending. And in terms of points, I mean, McKinnon's got 37. They've got 1, 2, 3 guys that are at more than a point a game pace. McKinnon, Nietzsche, and Makar. I mean, that is just insane. Landeskog is not the same guy, obviously. There's a Taylor Makar on the Avalanche. Is that Cale's brother? Is that his brother? McKinnon's got 37 points. Nietzsche's got 28. That's in 21 games. Makar's got 28 points. He's a defenseman. And he's got 28 points in 21 games. I mean, good Lord Almighty. Bill says the Panthers would have won if Bubba had not sucked. Bubba had a rough game. There's no doubt. There's no doubt, man. You know, but then when I look at that fourth goal, you know, he's hugging the post, and there's just that little bit of space there above his head. And, I mean, it was a perfect shot. It did kind of get him in the shoulder and then go up. I mean, if you're going to shoot for that little 4-inch sliver of hope there and get it, it's tough. So Bill thinks the Avs are a President's Trophy winner, first round exit. Who's going to beat them? So, I mean, right now it would be Avs and Mammoth. We're not suggesting the Mammoth would beat them in a playoff round, right? Who's going to? What we need Spencer Knight and the Blackhawks to be that spot. And then Spencer Knight will help the Panthers win the third cup by helping eliminate the Avalanche. That's the story. Hey, Patel, what's for breakfast? Yeah, so I didn't eat breakfast yet. I'm waiting until after the stream because I go outside. I have waffles with Leia. That's what we call it. My breakfast every morning is I get the organic waffles, and I have 3 waffles, and I cover them with peanut butter, jelly, maca powder, and my what the hell is it called? It's like glucosamine, not glucosamine, but damn it, it's something good for my skin because my skin gets really dry. I can't think of what the hell it's called. Anyway, that's what I do. I have all that on the waffles. It tastes pretty good. And I eat the peanut butter and jelly. I don't have to worry about gaining any weight. I can't gain any weight anyway. So I'm lucky there. Tells, yeah, Tarasov's first win as a Panther was on November 13th, and he hasn't played since. That's too much, Paul. I don't know. Paul seems stressed this year. He's definitely losing more hair. I wonder how much hair he lost when Barkov got hurt. Paul definitely looks stressed this year, which is a little bit. I kind of thought he would have been a little bit more. Beck says, I wonder why he's stressed, LOL. Yeah. It shows you how much he wants to win, right, Bex? Because you would kind of think he'd be like, well, hey, we won 2 cups. You can't win every year. All right, well, let's just have some fun playing hockey and see how it goes. But I think he's so stressed and taking everything so seriously that he's, like I said last night in the recap, I slept on it and I still feel that way. He's overcoaching. You know how when you get your fantasy lineup and you set it, and then you sit there Sunday morning and you scratch your eyes out trying to think about this extra point or that extra point or maybe, and you make some changes to your lineup. And then after the games, you're like, yeah, I should have just left it the way it was. That's how I think Maurice is coaching right now. He's so desperate to press a button to try to fix what's not fixable with these injuries that he's just pressing buttons like a wild man all over the place, and it's just not working. Bill says, what do I think about Bubba's next contract? I hope Zito doesn't overpay. So my assumption, now I'll give you Trey. Trey thinks it's going to be 8.25 by 3. I think that's the number he's saying. I guess the idea for me would be how much money does he want overall? Does he want another 20 million, 30 million, 40 million? And then how long would we have to space out the contract to give it to him? I don't think he's going to be re-signed at 10 years, or 10 million. I do feel like there's going to be some kind of a pay cut. How much of that is going to be, how big is that pay cut? I don't know. Obviously, this year he's not playing spectacularly, but he's had some down times in the regular season before. It's funny because somebody mentioned that a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a week and a half ago, somebody mentioned that it was announced that they were working on a contract. They were working on an extension for him. And since then, he's not looked good, with the exception of the game he looked good again with the shutout. You think 9.5 by 4? That's too much. If I'm Zito, I'm walking in the room with an offer of 7 by 3 and then going from there. If I'm Zito, that's because you're going to negotiate some. 7 by 3. I mean, he's 37. 4 might be a bit of a stretch considering all the hockey he's played. Bill says 5 by 2 max. I understand that sentiment, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. I'm hopeful maybe 7 by 3. But we'll see. Bob he's not an easy book to read. You know what I mean? Like, there's no real guessing in terms of what's going on in his head and what he's going to want to do. Anything could really happen there. I'm not suggesting that we do it, but if the news broke that it was 2 years by 10 million, I wouldn't even be shocked if he got the 10 million again. I don't think it's going to happen, but if he walks into Zito's office and say 2 by 10, and that's what I'm willing to do, Zito's going to do it. And that's just my opinion. Not saying whether or not I think they should, I'm just saying that's what I think will. Hockey Dave says 2 things. Give Tarasoff more starts to give Big Bob a rest, and quit pulling the damn goalie on with 1:45 mark, especially if we don't have possession in the O-zone. Yes, until under the 2-minute. Thank you, Hockey Dave. Yes. I mean, I don't understand why he's doing it. This is new this year. We were always pretty consistent with 2 minutes, a little bit under 2 minutes. We got possession. There goes Bob. It's been the way we've done things forever around here. And I understand that we don't have some of our guys, but we don't have some of our guys. We have not been great all year with keeping possession of the puck. It's frustrating because we're throwing away points. No, he won't. He won't be a free agent, Bucks. They're gonna. I was surprised that we didn't get him signed to an extension this summer. I really thought that we were going to get him signed this summer, but maybe they were working on something. And when the Barkov thing happened, it does have a cumulative effect because. And from the sounds of it, it doesn't sound like we're going to try to do anything about spending Barkov's money. the assumption is, the hope is, whatever you want to call it, that he's going to be back. Now, I heard somebody on Twitter, one of the reporters said they expect Barkov back sometime during the playoffs. Well, that sometime needs to be game one. You know what I mean? I don't know if we're going to win a playoff round without Barkov. I don't know about that. Would they trade before the deadline? Nah. No, that's Bobrovsky is in these conditions untradeable, because you would just be conceding. You would be conceding the season. Bobrovsky's, they would have never got rid of Spencer Knight if they had anything less than 100% confidence that Bobrovsky was going to extend. The money's there, so that's not an issue. And even if we gave him his $10 million, the money is there to give Sam Escevich a contract. He's got to get paid. We extended Gadjevich. Greer could need something, but you never know. We also might, see Devine get pulled up. You know what I mean? Miss Shaw's got $6.5 to $7 million for 5 to 6 years. Ooh, that's too long. But if he ended up with a buyout or retiring after 3 years, the dead cap isn't the end of the world. The cap is going up. I don't remember the number. Let's look at this. The cap is going to increase to $104 million. So it's supposed to go up about $9 million. So all things being even, that's why with the Barkov thing, if he doesn't come back to the playoffs and we don't have to trade anybody away like Rodriguez, then we can keep the team together even regardless of what Bobrovsky takes. And just at this pace, I would not completely discount the possibility of a Verhaeghe trade at some point. Not now during the season, but in the summer. If he has another terrible year, not terrible, but for his standards, if he has another off year and we think that we might be able to upgrade over him somewhere, if anybody was going to get moved, I would think it would be him, but everybody's got no move clauses. So, anybody can be moved, sure. Hockey is a Brad Marchand type contract, probably with money spread out over time. I mean, that could happen. Patel says, what should be the rule when to pull the goalie if it's a one-score deficit? 2 minutes, 1 minute left, maybe not even pull the goalie at all. So I'll take my personal opinion out of it. Generally speaking, over the course of the years, it's generally been about 2 minutes left when you have possession, whether you have possession behind your own net or if you get good possession in the O-zone, then the goalie can come off. That's generally the rule. What Maurice has been doing is 3 minutes left, sometimes more than 3 minutes left, and that's twice now when we didn't even have possession. And that is like the most basic part. I don't care if it's 10 minutes left if you're going to pull the goalie. You got to have possession of the puck. That is the most basic logical thing. And I can't stress enough when I say I don't understand why he's doing that. It's just a freebie for the other team. And it's 2-3 times now. The puck's been in the back of our net before we can even realize the goalie's off the ice. Hockey Day says, in terms of Bobrovsky, says, then he comes in as a goalie coach with Luongo and the Cats stay a goalie building factory. Maybe. Does Bob want to play like till 43 like Marchand? He hasn't said. When they asked him about his contract before the season, he was very much, I'm grateful for the position I'm in. I'm focused on 1 year at a time and how I can help my team, and I don't really think about the future. So who knows how long he wants to play, but he's not telling us, that's for sure. Hockey Days pull it, and the hope is for a tie. If they score another goal, just eat it. You lost. Yeah. The Avs have evening wood. Nice, Patel. Nice. Buck says, I wonder if Tampa makes moves before the deadline. Where they need help, though. That's the thing. What's their space? Boy, Google must be listening in. It brings it right up. They've got about $2.5 million. They've got about 2.5. So, Cooch, Point, Gensel, Hagel, Sorelli, Borgstrom, Paul, Gord, Holmberg, Goncalves. I can't ever say his name. They could use a little bit of fourth line help. What about defense? Yeah, there could be some room there if they wanted to. Boy, they got a lot of defensemen that are up and down here. Hedman 34, McDonough 36. Yeah, they might could end up with some depth, but I don't think they'll be making any bigger moves. Anybody see Tampa's Douglas get run into by Wilson? I think Donna was watching that earlier. When I walked into the room, I think that's what she was watching. Wilson's always doing something. He's one of those guys where you hate him until he's on your team, which eventually, when Ovi retires, Wilson will become a Panther. When Ovi retires, Wilson will be on the Panthers. Mark it. And it'll be a Bennett, Kachuk, Tom Wilson line. Maybe that'd be the third line. Devine has looked good. I'm looking forward to seeing him more. We're going to have to make some space somewhere. I don't know what or if we could do with Verhaeghe, and I'm not saying Devine would take Verhaeghe's spot right away, but I just hope Devine doesn't go the route of Sordiff, where he obviously looks ready, and then we have to get rid of him because there's no space. How bad is Verhaeghe's shot percentage now? We should have a Verhaeghe shot percentage counter. Let's see. He entered the game at 4.3, and he stayed at 4.3. What do you do? Not have any shots on goal? Let's see. Last night he had 1 shot. He's not even shooting. It's so bad now. So in the last 3 games, he's got 1 shot a game. Even when we beat the crap out of Vancouver and had all those goals, he only had 1 shot. He had 3 shots against the Lightning when we lost. He had been shooting the puck. 3-3, 2-1, 2-3, and then 1-1-1. Now, in contrast, Sam Reinhart. Sam Reinhart's shot percentage is 20.3. God, can we clone this guy? And so he had 2 shots. The games before he had 3-3. Boy, he had 7 shots against San Jose. Holy crap. He had 9 shots against Anaheim. Those are some wild numbers. Damn it, Carter. What are we doing, man? It's depressing watching this guy just de-evolve. I feel bad for him. I mean, he is 30 and married. That's all that happens. That's it. There's another guy that the Leafs could have had. Hey, Toronto, you could have, Toronto drafted him. He was drafted in the 3rd round by the Leafs. I know we got him from the Lightning, but he was drafted by the Leafs, and they let him go. Yeah, it's just not good enough, man. Damn it. Ms. Jaw says every time it comes near him, he's either confused what to do or he passes it to someone else. I know. Yeah, he's not shooting anymore, Bex. I know. It's bad. It's bad. So if could we sit him when Luosterainen comes back? Lundell, Luosterainen, Marchand, Bennett with Boquist and Devine, and then Rodriguez with Reinhart. And no, see, there's Verhaeghe. Jeez, Marchand. It's a mess. It's a mess. It really is. Thomas, watch out for the Preds tomorrow. Didn't they win the other day? They won yesterday, right? No, they've lost 2 games in a row. The Preds are bad. The Preds are bad. What about a Marchessault for Verhaeghe swap? What about a Marchessault for Verhaeghe swap? Where's Jonathan Marchessault? That's all Huberdeau. Is Marchessault any better at this point? He's old now, right? He's like 34. God. He's got 4 goals and 2 assists. He's not much better. He's a -11. It's worse. His shot percentage is 9.3. But I think that would just be taking one problem and swapping it out for another. Yeah, that's not going to do it. Yeah, there's nobody. We're so injured right now. Everybody's hurt. There's no real options. If Luosterainen came back, maybe. But Maurice isn't going to do it. I just don't think he's going to do it. He can't move him down any further in the lineup. What was the time on ice last night? Let me see. Because Verhaeghe last night had, maybe reduce his time on ice. Last night he was 18-11. But he's got him on the first power play unit. Like, I don't understand. So, like, Samaskevich's time on ice last night. Let's see. 16:41. So this is what I'm talking about with Maurice and his decision making. Last night, Samo was all over the place. He had a goal and an assist, and he had almost a full 2 minutes less ice time than Verhaeghe last night. That's just inexcusable. That is just Maurice just not recognizing the in-game situations. And when we got that late power play in the 3rd period, and I saw Verhaeghe out there on the first unit instead of Samaskevich, who already had 2 points, that's when you're just yelling. You're like, what are we doing? He's not managing the games at all in terms of going with the hot player. He still had Verhaeghe out there in that spot where it should be Samaskevich, which is the exact spot Samuel scored from last night. It's maddening. Maybe Maurice is having problems at home. I think he just really wants to win. And the first 3 years, like he always used to say, the team is coaching itself. The team would coach itself, and he didn't really have to do a whole lot. And I think now with all he's having to make decision after decision, and we're used to him pulling the right levers and pressing the right buttons. How many times did he do something in the beginning of the recap? I bitch about it, and then by the end of the recap, I'm like, yeah. So that's why he's the coach, because he knows better. But this year, it's been the opposite. Like, just like the thing with, what about the rest of how much ice time did Reinhart last night? Because Reinhart was absolutely crazy last night. Please don't be less time than Verhaeghe. Son of a bitch, Reinhart had less time on ice than Verhaeghe last night. How is this possible, Paul? What are we doing? I bet you he's going to have had. I mean, did he lead the team in ice time last night for forwards? What about Marchand? No, Marchand had a little bit more time, 18:45. Why was Verhaeghe's time on ice so high? Lundell's got to be leading last night, right? Marchand, Lundell. Yeah. Who else? How much time is he given that fourth line? How much time did Devine get last night? Probably 8 minutes, right? Let's see. 9. That's not bad. 9:47. That's not too bad. Oh, well. You think he's just tired? I mean, he looked kind of tired. His hair is falling out. I feel bad for the dude. Bill says, what do I think about Devine? I think Devine's been active. I don't see him out of position. I see he's got fresh legs. You can definitely tell. The same thing was when Schwint came up. You can definitely tell which players have not been on all 3 Stanley Cup runs. Because Samoskevich got legs, Rodriguez got legs, Devine, Schwint, Greer. You can definitely tell which guys have not been there all 3 years, for sure. I mean, Devine is waivers exempt, so that's a good thing. I hope we don't have to move him next year because there's no room. At some point, you do need to start infusing some youth into some of these positions so that you got guys with legs. Hell, even Marchand's got more legs than some of these guys right now. Hockey Day says, has a line of Samo, Greer, and Bennett been tried yet? No, not this year, because they had to move Bennett down, and then Verhaeghe was doing so bad with Rodriguez and Reinhart that they moved Verhaeghe down and put Samoskevich up top. I think Greer is a good player. Greer is definitely a guy on a lot of teams. I think he could be a third line guy. He's got a little bit more talent than just the regular fourth line guy. But in terms of Bennett, Greer, Samoskevich, that could work. That could work. And then you'd have to put Verhaeghe back with Reinhart and Rodriguez. Verhaeghe is the issue right now because you need him to play better than he is. And even if you went Lundell, Marchand, Luosterainen, and then Greer, Bennett, Samoskevich, that's going to leave you with Rodriguez, Reinhart, and Verhaeghe. And so if Verhaeghe was playing his normal game, maybe. Hockey Day says put Verhaeghe with Lundy and Marchand until Luosterainen comes back. Well, that's what they got. They got Samoskevich there with him, though. He got a goal and an assist last night. So I don't know about that. I want to put Verhaeghe on the bench. That's what I want to do. I just want to put Verhaeghe on the bench and leave it even with Luosterainen out. So Lundell, Marchand, Samoskevich. God, what's left? Rodriguez with Reinhart and Effett. God, what's left? You can't, if you got Bennett with Greer and Bohlquist, what about Bohlquist? Yeah. I mean, anybody at this point, just to give Verhaeghe a night off. Oh my God, with the injuries, there's so many injuries, you just lose track of guys. Meg says, Samlo heard we were going to change his name until he scored yesterday. He didn't want that. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Hockey day. Yeah. Yeah. On the bench. It's rough, man. And when you got so many injuries and you got a couple of guys not playing, and look, we didn't lose yesterday because Rahege's not shooting, but it would have been nice to have seen Maurice put Sam Miskevich on that top power play line. That's the thing, more than the empty net. That's what shocked me the most. Was like Sam Miskevich is killing it. Verhage is ass. Here's a third period power play where you need a goal. Like, it's a no-brainer to put Sam on that top. I don't understand. I don't, and I get Maurice is being stubborn, hoping he's going to get Verhage going, but he needs to look at last year's statistics. Verhage never really got going in a regular season last year at all. He got going in the playoffs, but this is Carter Verhage in the regular season now for whatever reason. Somebody needs to go down to Homestead and get some goats for Carter. Right? It's a shame too, because if he was playing as well as Reinhart is just, I mean, he is so criminally underrated. He makes some moves. He just doesn't get the attention of a McDavid or a Kucherov or McKinnon. And I'm not saying he's on that level, but he makes some plays that genuinely, I think only guys that are in that upper echelon make. He really does. And he's really picked up his play here the last week or two, and we needed it. Panthers don't care about the regular season. Yeah, but you got to get in. Trust me, they care that they're not getting these points right now. We can't keep losing points. We should be getting these games to overtime. So, all right. So that's going to do it for the 8 o'clock stream. So I'm going to go eat some breakfast because I'm getting a little bit woozy. And then I will be back at noon. Again, we'll go another hour and a half at noon. And then Kyle and I are live starting at 4 o'clock on the football channel. I made a community post with the links. And then tonight about 8:30, when I'm good and exhausted, that's inebriated and exhausted combined. I'm going to be exhausted. Donna and I are going to be live on the men's channel at 8:30 for an inappropriate conversation stream, just because we want to get that channel moving again and have some fun. And I should be good and crisp by the end of the day. So that'll be good. I'm going to have Donna cracking up tonight. I absolutely promise on that. So appreciate everybody hanging out with us. I'm going to go get some breakfast. Holy crap. What is it? It's 9:06. That's not too bad. Get some breakfast, and I'll see you all again at noon.